Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you all virtually this morning. We're going to give it about a minute or so before I do a formal introduction and then pass over to Suraj to get started. But if you do have any questions and things during the session, please feel free to utilize the Q&A functionality, and we'll get them addressed. But we'll give it about a minute or so before we get started, and then as I say, we'll get straight into the session. Okay, so I reckon that's giving those latecomers a little bit of grace to come on in, and if they come through as they come, we'll let them in. But yes, as I've said, formally, good morning, welcome to our January Virtual Insights. Delighted this morning to be joined by the team from Codis, who are going to be running through mainly the Codis Excelerator, but a couple of other little products within their suite this morning. I'm delighted to pass over straight away to Suraj, who is the partnerships and customer success lead at Codis, and he's going to show some slides. We're going to see some product. As I said before, if you've got any questions, feel free to utilize the Q&A, and we'll pick up as we go. And yeah, so without much further ado, Suraj, over to you.
Michael, thanks so much. Hi, everyone. Really great to be here amongst you all. I see some familiar names on the screen as well. So really warm welcome to today's session. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be presenting Excelerator, right? That's the main reason you're here, and go through that. So I'll share a bit of background around this, and then we'll go into some demos, and then there'll be time for questions at the end as well. Of course, feel free to put them in the Q&A box as we go along. So who we are. So for those of you who have yet to be familiar with Codis, we've been around in this space for over 3 decades, and very much working with Sage to build solutions that help to take the best of Sage, right, to all the robustness and reliability that you have of Sage, and to find ways to really enrich the way in which you interact with Sage in terms of being able to get that data out from Sage with ease, speed, accuracy, and then also, again, to be able to bring that into Sage in a way that's really brings many more efficiencies to the way in which you run your day-to-day business processes. So the products that we're going to be going through today primarily is Excelerator, which has been on the Sage price list for the last 10 years, actually. So it's been sold by Sage to and through the likes of Innov8 that we have here. So thanks, Michael and team, for having us present here today. Now, Excelerator won the Innovation Award 20 years back, actually, in 2006 with Sage. And then more recently, we've also been taking that Accelerator technology and finding ways to take what delivers a semi-automated integration with systems into a fully automated platform, which is Orchestrator, which supports getting data across from another business system into Sage and the other way around. I can talk to you a bit more around that later on. We also have Intellivator, which are our Power BI dashboards for Sage 20. These are Microsoft Power BI dashboards, and I'll invite Karen shortly to share around that. This gives you a flavor for the range of customers and companies that we work with, and their licenses. We've thousands of licenses out there in use by a whole number of customers, many high street names that you would recognize on there as well. All right, so what do we do? As I mentioned, we've got Sage, powerful, robust, reliable. It's there. And then we find ways to use what Microsoft brings, which is they invest so much in their user experience and the technology around that to make it as easy and seamless to use these systems. And so we utilize products like Excel and Microsoft Power BI to make it a lot more useful for you. First of all, we're going to be talking about Excelerator. So Excelerator, what that does is as you'll come to hear about it, come to see it today, Excelerator is an Excel add-in. So it's an Excel add-in for Sage 200. It lets you use Sage from within Excel. So you get all the robustness and reliability of Sage, and then you get all that familiarity, right? Everyone knows how to use Excel. You've got all the flexibility of Excel itself, and then all the functions that are ready to use there, which we can go through. You can also, within the sheet itself, you can browse Sage data directly from within Excel. and all the validation that you would expect from Sage, that's all ready and available through there. So it doesn't replicate the validation, it uses the Sage validation, okay? And then you can also add in your own custom validation on top of that through Excel as well, if you wanted to. And then finally, on the customizable note, Accelerator comes with a suite of pre-defined, ready-to-use templates. You can use them, hit the ground running with them straight away. And there's a designer mode, which lets you adapt, amend an existing template, as well as create your own ones from scratch if you wanted to. And there's options there around being able to use that, be able to create them yourselves, or you could reach out to Innov8, and you can also reach out to us and we can support you around the process for that, to the point of even building the templates and maintaining those templates for you, depending on like how complex your particular requirements are there. What you're going to get a feel for today is a few of these modules today, and then I just want to just highlight that there are 25 Accelerator modules across financials and commercials within Sage. So you've got the likes of within financials, things like NL journals. You've got things like working with customers and suppliers, but you've also got your purchase ledger invoices and payments. You've got your sales ledger invoices and receipts, cash book, etc., etc. And then on the commercial side, things like working with stock, with sales orders, with purchase orders. You can do so much. You can use so much of Sage just from within Excel. The second product that I will be just sharing with you about is that we have what we have with Accelerator, which lets you use Sage from within Excel. And then you can also then, so that delivers effectively, if you're working with other systems data from maybe a purchase ledger, so like accounts payable automation system, and you want to get your purchase ledger invoices into Sage, what you can do is take those CSVs that are coming in and automatically they can get pulled through into Sage, and that's all powered using our orchestrator technology. And the beauty here is that what can be traditionally quite complex, challenging, troublesome integrations, we are able to, through this, use Excel to support you with the data mapping and the data transformation of that data from systems. So I'll give you a flavor for that in a moment. And then we also have Accelerator, which is the Microsoft Power BI dashboards for Sage. So what you have here is you've got these dashboards which are available, which is one browser link that anybody from within your company can access with the right permissions, and you can choose what they get to see. So the ability here is that, for example, if you're in Sage and you want to create a report, for example, across multiple companies, you'd have to go into each individual company, download that data, work on that within an Excel file, bring it all together, and then find a way to report that. Whereas with Accelerator, you just check a few boxes and it just lets you look at data across multiple companies. Very, very powerful. There's also other things like dynamic filtering and lenses, and ability to be able to drill down into your data that's there as well. So what I'm going to do now is hand across to Karan to give you a flavor for this. So you can see that when it comes to working with getting information into Sage, it's going to be really important for decision makers, whether at an operational level or a strategic level, to make decisions using data, using platforms like this, with data that they can depend on, and that's available very, very quickly using Accelerator. But first, let's give you a flavor for our reporting solution here.
Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Karan. I'm head of BI here at Codis, and I'm going to give you a very quick flyby through our suite of dashboards today in Accelerator. So I'm sharing my screen now. As you can see, the dashboards are accessed through a web browser. Everyone gets one link. It's up to date to the nearest day, or you can customize the refresh schedule yourself, up to, I think, 8 times a day for the Power BI Pro tier. Now, these dashboards are built on Power BI, and that was a very conscious decision. Microsoft Power BI is by far and away the most widely used dashboard tool in the world. You're not going to beat the investment that Microsoft are putting into Power BI. There are new features out every month, and it is so ubiquitous that there are Power BI developers out there ready to go. So I'm just going to briefly touch on what's available in this suite. We got nominal dashboard, which is includes financial statements, which I'll go through in a bit. Profitability, SOP, POP, AI-powered credit control, AI-powered payments control, stock quantity, and stock valuation. So right now, I have started on credit control, which is AI-powered. What happens is each of these dots is a customer, and the AI gives each customer a risk score out of 10, which is the risk that they may pay late. And it uses historical information. For example, were they late paying in the past? If they were late, how late were those debts? Are they close to their credit limit? And other historical clues to kind of gauge that risk score. And on the side here, you got going up the amount that the customer owes. And so the idea is that you want to chase from the top right first, so the red customers. And the reason is because there's no point chasing a customer like this one that owes a lot of money if they're probably going to pay on time anyway, because the risk score is low. From here, you can hover over a particular customer, see who they are, see the amount owed, and drill through to the transactions that are outstanding. We group the customers in a risk matrix, and to see the it's multi-company, so let's include all the companies, and to see the customers in a particular quadrant of the risk matrix, for example, a high amount owed and a severe risk of paying late, we click on that quadrant and you can see it all filters down to just that one quadrant. Next up, very briefly, is AI-powered trends. So this is in a few of our dashboards, but I'm going to go to the stock profitability dashboard. And we can see here that we use, rather than you exploring various products yourself and looking for products which may have shot up or shot down in the last month, this uses AI to point out those products that have increased or suddenly decreased in the last month. So we can see here, this particular product was doing okay, and in the last month it was unusually good. And likewise, the opposite for this particular product. And these trends exist not just for products, but for companies, for customers, and any analysis codes you have. So for example, if you have sales reps as an analysis code on the customer, you can see which sales reps are doing particularly well or not so well. If I go to customers here, we can see this particular customer has gone down in the last month. Maybe I should give them a call. And finally, I want to just briefly touch on the financial statements page of the nominal dashboard. Now, this picks up the financial statements that you set up yourself in Sage 200, which means that you don't have to come to us if you want to change your financial statement. You can add the lines, add nominal accounts, add report categories yourself. Again, it is up to date to the latest day. If I click on a particular line in the financial statement, we can see a trend over time where we see the actual budget last year and forecast. If I select year to date, you would see a rolling forecast in purple. And we can also, more importantly, drill down into individual lines in the financial statement. So if I look at total sales, I can right click, drill through to the financial statement drill down. And we can see what nominal accounts make up that line. We can see the exact transactions that make up that line, and we can break down that line into anything you want, including cost center, department, report categories, or even nominal analysis codes. These dashboards are fully customizable. You can customize them yourself using, within seconds, using simple drop downs like this, just to see what you want to change, what you want to see in the charts. We offer, if you want to customize them yourself by building Power BI reports, we offer training on Power BI. Or if you'd like us to deal with it and you don't want to worry about customizing it yourself, we can of course handle that for you. That was a super quick flyby through our Excelerator dashboards. But by all means, if you'd like a more thorough look at any of them, or if you want to look at a particular dashboard, please do reach out to us and I'll be happy to take you through that. Thank you very much. Over to you, Suraj.
That's great, Karen. Thanks so much for showing that to all of us here. So there are a number of us here on the call actually who have already are using Excelerator in your businesses and seeing the great benefit of that. So if that's of interest to you, do speak with your Innov8 account manager who can organize a walkthrough of that specifically for yourselves and get you up and running for that. Okay. So what you have there with Excelerator with these dashboards is that you can use it to be able to make both operational and strategic decisions, business decisions, with ease, right? But that's only going to be possible. It's only going to be as good as the quality of the data that's coming into Sage in the first place. And of course, make sure that it comes in quickly enough so you can really start to make use of it. So what we're doing now is we'll go through Excelerator, all right? Excelerator again, for today, that's why you're here, is to be able to use Sage from within Excel. Let me show you what you get when you buy an Excelerator license. So whenever you get a license for Excelerator, it will already come with its own predefined template ready for you to use. Here are a selection of other templates that are there, which you can see when you get those licenses. So let's start with journals. What I'm going to do, very first thing is we've got our journal template ready. You can create multiple journals if you want to. Let's start with a single one. So up here at the top, you go and when you've installed Excelerator, you click into the ribbon, login. So we're logging into Sage here. This is using your Sage credentials for your specific user. So all the validation or the controls are in place for that. You'd select the company that you want to post into. If you've got multiple companies, you can choose that one there and select that. All right, so now let's just start by creating a journal entry. So let's go for, let's just say ABC 111. And we will now start by entering some lines in that journal. So you can use the search feature at the top to find the particular nominal references that you want. And let's just start with these. Let's start with these two here. There you go. So we'll add in a debit amount. We'll add in a credit amount. There you have it. You've got a balancing journal there. And just have a quick look at that within Sage. There's nothing there at the moment. Back to here, hit Save to Sage. Okay, there. We've got a single journal saved for reference 039. Go into Sage, refresh that list, and you see that's come through within seconds. And this is one single journal, a 2-line journal. Imagine having many, many more lines, tens of lines, hundreds of lines. You can achieve that here, and you can also create multiple journals as well. All right, let's take a look at some of the other features that are available here. So I'm just going to clear this here. Okay, so now let's just say that we have another requirement. This time we'll look at a 3-line journal. So you can, of course, what you've done here is browsing records. You can also type them in manually here, or you can also copy them from elsewhere, copy those lines from elsewhere and then paste them here into the sheet, or even use a formula to call it in from another place. But for today's purpose, let me show you again. I'll select a 3-line journal here. So what we'll do is we'll pull through the normal references on here, and then we will select those 3 and start to build that out. So it was just hiding in the background there. So what we've got here is that screen where I looked for the browse for that code. So just select these 3 lines on here. Okay, there. So now we have another journal that we're creating here. Now let's say in this case, we're using debit amount of 10, maybe another debit amount of 20. And here, rather than actually typing it manually, just using Excel functions and formulae here. So for example, you can use the AutoSum feature to be able to select the items there, hit enter, and there you've got a balancing journal that's ready to upload. Now, let's say that here we've actually selected it, but what if you're manually typing it in and made a mistake, right? Or you're pasting it from somewhere else and there's an error in the data that's coming in. What happens then? So what I'm going to show you now is if we go into journals and then hit validate. So we can validate our journal entries before saving into Sage. Of course, it will validate it as you're saving it. What this has done is it's said to us, hey, look, actually, that particular combination of account code, cost center, and department doesn't match within Sage. So what we're going to do is keep a look on the left-hand side of the screen, because when I click on this particular validation result, it will jump us straight to that particular row, which is fine, right? If you've got 3 lines there, that's okay. Like, it's quite easy to spot that. Let's say you've got hundreds of lines. It'll be much harder to find out exactly where the issue is. So this jumps you straight to that place where you can go ahead, rectify that, and then let's go and save that into Sage. That's now saved there as journal reference. There's the next one there. And there you have it. I saved it, and the next one on the list. Okay, so now I will take you through what happens now. So what I've shown you so far is being able to create a journal using the template that already exists for you. But what if, when it comes to the data that you're using, it's not set up and laid out in this particular way? Could you create your own template to be able to add in, upload your own transactions? Of course you can. A way to do that is we'll just go and create a brand new blank workbook there. Let's just call that journal entry, give it a title, right? Larger, there you go. What we'll do now is start to build this out ourselves. So go into the ribbon there, into journals, select designer. And here we can start to build out this particular template based on your needs. So you can now go in and start to add in some header details. You can choose, for example, which Sage company you want to post into. Let's do that. You can also add in here things like your journal reference and title, whether you want it to be a posted journal or a held journal. The journal date itself, let's put that on there. And let's take a look and see some of the details that we can add in there as well. So here we're going to create a 25-line journal. It can be 250 or many, many more. We'll just create 25 for now and start to add in the detailed lines. So we're going to add in nominal account, cost center and department. Let's take a look here. What else do we want to put in here? For today, add in a debit or credit amount, but actually you can even, instead of that, just put in a value, and it can be positive or negative as need be, and then post accordingly there. That's it. Template's built. So let's now go ahead and use this. Okay. So let's put in, we can post it to the company. So browse records here and post it into our demo company there. Reference it will generate, put a title here. So ABC 114, for example. Here we can choose the journal type. So it can be, for example, a posted journal or a held journal. We can go to held transactions, for example, put them here, and then put a journal date as well. So maybe actually something like this, it was from maybe the 28th of December last year, right? Okay, similar way from earlier, right click on here or paste in from elsewhere your items there. So we'll just get that loaded up and coming through. Similar principle here, right? You can also use other filters and other searches there. Again, debit and credit amounts. So 25, 55, and then this can be, again, similar thing to what I showed you earlier. So much more that you can do. You can do drag and fill and other things as you need to. And there you have it. Go ahead and save that to Sage. That's saved there. That's now generated there. It also doesn't have to be balancing as well if it's a held entry. So we can take a look at that under nominal inquiries. Is that, hang on. There you go, held journal. And then there you see it from today itself. Okay. So within seconds, you can create your own template there, and that's ready for you to use straight away. All right, so you've seen journals, you've seen what you can do there. Let's take a look at some of the other modules that we have available. So which are the ones that are here? So we've got things like our other financial templates, and we've also got some of the commercials ones. Let's look at the sales order entry template that's there. Similar principles, so what you've seen here for journals, similar principles apply. There's some additional functionality in the different templates as required for that particular module. So you can add multiple sales orders if you wanted to, or we can just create a single sales order. So in this case, let's go ahead and do that. We're going to select our customer from Sage. Okay, so let's pick up maybe this one here. That's come through there. And now let's just start to add stock values there. Browse records. And then select that one there, and maybe that one there. And then that, you can use Control-Click to select multiple if you wanted to. Hit OK. We'll put in some quantities on here. So maybe one of those, 3 of those, and then 2 of those. And let's go ahead and now use some of the other features that you can see up here to help make it easier for you to enter this data in. There you go. We can now use the calculate values option, so you can confirm the values. Yeah. Great. So it's calculated based on the calculated the selling price and all of that, and just brought through all the prices and the line nets. So it's worked all that out for you, and there you go. You can go ahead and save that into Sage. So we're looking at for order number 5107. So if I go into Sage here, see sales order processing, sales order list. That was the last one that was there. If I hit refresh on this, yeah, as I was saying, it's come through there. So I've hit refresh earlier, and then order 5107 has come through. There, I can just open that up now, and you can see that you see quantity 1 of those, 2 of those, 3 of those, as they are there directly within Sage. What else can you do? So you know how you can print an order from within Sage? So you don't have to actually go into Sage to be able to print it. What you can do is back here from within Accelerator, you can go to the print option. So you can stay within your screen on here and go ahead and print that. And what that will do is it'll use the report that's the generator that's within Sage, and it will generate that specific report for you on the screen there. There you see it's been generated, and we expand that out. You can see that coming through in full.
Suraj, just to jump
Yes,
in, so Danny's asked a question, could you upload a CSV file straight into the template?
Yes, Danny, absolutely. Yeah, so you can just so you can actually import a CSV file. I can show you where that is, or you can actually do that on here. So if I now clear this out, for example, I don't have an example ready for you, but I can show you where you can do that. Okay, so you can actually use the import options. So some of these have a particular one where you can actually do that import. So do I have it on my screen here? There you go. So under tools, there's an import CSV option, right? So you select that, and then it will actually help you to pull that up into that particular template. So again, if we go to sales orders, go to tools, import CSV. If I have that CSV available here, for example, you can select that, and that will just pull that data straight through within your template there. You can, of course, also post that in. Okay. And then also, as I was saying earlier, you've got multiple sales orders as well that you can add in. So you can add them in bulk and work through it in that way. But for the multiple, working with multiple records option, let me just show you another example on the screen. So on here, let's take a look at stock. So what you can do here, let's just say that you're working with many, many stock items, and you need to now mass update a number of maybe the supplier lead time, increase that to 9 days, and maybe the list price you want to maybe reduce that to a lower amount. So what you can do is go into here, go to accelerators, go to stock module. You can download existing stock records on mass. So I just pull through maybe 5 items here for now. Okay, there. This comes as part of the standard template, but of course you can add in your own additional fields onto this as you need to. But in this example, supplier lead time is currently 7 days. We can just change that to 9, and then also just drag and fill that if that's applicable for all your all of those particular stock items. And the list price that's on here is 149. I might change that down to 129, right? Similar thing here. Move that through there. So before I go and save that into Sage, let's just take a look at one example of that within here. So go here, stock list. So ABB built-in 1502, that's there. That one there at the top. So under suppliers, you've got your lead time of 7 days there that you can see there, right? And then also you want to maybe bring your list price down as well. So list price at the moment is 149. So we just come out of that. Again, those changes that we just made there in Sage, if I now go ahead and save that, okay, that. Okay, that's all done. Those records have been saved there. Hit OK. And now if I look in Sage, you can see that lead time has increased now to 9 days there. And looking to that particular one there, the list price, prior list price is down to 129. What I've shown you so far is the ability to be able to take your to use existing templates that are there ready to use and to very rapidly enter in your records, your transactions into Sage 200, copying it in from other places and importing it CSVs as you need to, and rather than having to manually key it in every single time. Now, you can also, I mentioned earlier about an example where we use an accounts payable automation system. So for example, we've been doing a lot of work integrating with Tipalti and Sage 200, right? So you've got the accounts payable automation there. Then we need to get in the suppliers coming through into Sage, and also the purchase ledger invoices. So let me show you an example of that. So here's this thing that when it comes to the sample data, so when it comes to the data that would be coming out of Tipalti, they would have things like, you can see on here, all the information that's there, but there, anytime there's a credit, it will show up as a negative value, right? And they don't actually have it, but what Sage expects is that it would come through as a debit amount or a credit amount, but not a negative value. It just states whether it's a credit or debit amount. So the challenge here is how do we get that information in? So you can actually use Excelerator to deliver a fully automated integration between systems and using Excel to support your data mapping, which I've shown you just now, as well as your data transformation. So in this example, this is a template that we'd be using to achieve that. And by the way, for the fully automated integration, this uses our orchestrator portal, where we've got these schedules. So you can set up these schedules running on a daily or nightly basis if you want to. You can also have it running as frequently as an hour, or even once a minute, or even every 30 seconds. And so it can be pretty much real time coming through and the data coming in that way. So here are the schedules that are set up. And then what we're doing here is we take this template here. We take the raw CSV data that's coming in from another system that we want to get into Sage. So I just copy this out for you for now to show you an example. Orchestrator would marry the two together, and it would actually do this for you. It pastes in there. All those values only came up until column L. But what this Accelerator template has done is it's set up in a way where, and let me show you the designer here so you can see how it's set up there. So remember earlier we were creating brand new templates from scratch, and you could see all that mapping that's already done there, right? So the document type is under this section here, whether it's an invoice or a credit note. Again, you've got your invoice date there, the due date there, the references, and then also there's other values around tax and all of that. So what you can do is it automatically works out, one, whether it's an invoice or whether it's a credit note, depending on whether it's a negative or a positive value. Then it flattens that into a positive value there, but states it as a credit note. And also it works out, based on the tax code that's been imported, what tax code it should be. So it does a lookup from another tab on the template there. So it works out if it's tax code 0, T0 or T1, have it come through appropriately there. And there you have it. So within seconds, what you're able to do is actually have a template with the mapping in the right places to be able to get it ready to upload that information up into Sage. Okay, so we've seen that so far. Now, what we've done is gone from the standard templates to customized templates that you can have into now thinking about what if you what you've got other specific processes that you're already running and working with, but you want to be able to now simplify that whole process, but you don't want to invest so much in a brand new solution to achieve it. Can you build a light application just using Excel to achieve some of these other challenges that we might face? So one example might be for you've got your customers, right? So at the moment, customer information, you might have an email coming through from the customer, they might fill out a form, you have to then go ahead and manually enter that data in. You can just send them this template out. Not that one, wrong folder. You can send them, when you're onboarding a new customer, you can send them this template here. It's a single customer entry template. They would fill it in. They would be responsible for making sure that all the data, all the information is correct there. You would, of course, enter your own details there. You fill in the nominal code and cost center and department, that sort of stuff as you need to. And then what you can do is when you're trying to bring that customer in, they would send it to you, email it to you, you make any updates, and then go ahead into accelerators and save that to Sage within seconds. The other thing might be if you're working with across multiple companies. So let's say you've got a group of companies, right? And then you want to, within a group of companies, you might be from purchasing from another company within your group. So you can also build another solution like this, where you've got intercompany POP to SOP. So company A is here, right click on there and browse records. You can select the company that you want to that is doing the purchasing, right? On the right-hand side, maybe predefined company demo 2, where you're buying it from, so who's selling it to you. And then you can start to enter in some stock codes here, like so. Of course, we have to enter a supplier first, right? Makes sense. Let's enter a supplier. And then let's just select our supplier there and start to work out the products for them. This might be these products here. Okay, that. Enter in some quantities. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, or 45. It's up to you if you want that many cookers. And then you can see that has all been reflected on the right-hand side. So all you do there, quickly calculate the values and hit under accelerators under there, hit Save to Sage for purchase orders, go to sales orders, hit Save to Sage for that one. And then you've got both on both sides, those orders that have been generated in the respective companies within Sage. And then there may be other examples as well that I can talk you through. As I go back to my slides here, I'll show you some of the other modules that are there and some of the other things that we can achieve with that. So for example, we've got things like you could actually have your own branded accelerator template for a customer order. You send that out to them, they would fill that in, that sales order in, you bring it back in, do any validation that you need to do within that and hit Save to Sage, that generates a new sales order for you. You might also want to look at stock reconciliation and adjustments, right? So you create an application for that just within Excel. So what you do here is you download existing stock levels, then you do a physical count, right? What's in the warehouse there? Put that into the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet calculates all the variances, where the differences are. And then what you can do is upload using the stock adjustments module. You can then upload that through into Sage. What I'm showing you here are like the blues here are the existing modules, the greens on the screen are the newer modules. So we've got more and more modules that are being developed constantly to be able to help you have a much more access and much more availability with the solutions that are there. And these modules are constantly not only being added, but also being improved on over and over again. There's many other examples with regards to finance you might have in your sales team, again, to be able to work out calculate the commissions for them, right? So you've got commissions, so you download all your sales data, you can then apply commission rules within Excel, and then auto-generate journals to be able to post accruals within Sage as well. So hopefully you can get a flavor and your mind's kind of starting to take around, okay, I can create these things, bring much more flow, much more speed and accuracy and efficiency to the way I'm working within Sage day to day. So as we start to now wind down for today, how do you get started with Accelerator? So here's what you do. Licensing, the way it works is that it's per module per user. Okay, so it's very flexible. So you have the ability to pick and choose the modules and licenses and who you want to allocate them to, work that out, and then costing is worked out appropriately for that rather than having to buy everything for everyone. Installation will take maybe half a day for up to 4 users, and training is included as part of that. And remember, the Innov8 team are here to support you around deployment of that, any assistance you need around any of that, your team's available there, and we're here to really back that up and support that. So when you're ready, go ahead, just let your account manager know that these are the modules and these are licenses you're interested in. You can just place an order directly with them straight away. Or if you wanted to, you want to see a bit more of it, you want to get a bit more, like come to us with your specific challenges, business challenges, specific requirements, we can help you work out which particular modules, how many licenses, what additional customization, custom templates might need to be created to support what you want to achieve. So again, ask your account manager at Innov8 to reach out to us, and we can organize a walkthrough and a conversation around that as well. So as we wrap up here, this is myself and Karan from a presenting perspective, and I will then invite, if there are any questions, any other comments, please do share.
Brilliant. Thank you, Suraj. Just keeping an eye on the Q&A right now. Just to draw a close, if you do want to share this with a colleague or someone within your organization, which would be a colleague, then we will be posting this onto our YouTube channel later on today, and you should get a direct link of the recording of the session as well. Yeah, we'll just hang fire for a couple of moments if we have any questions. And if not, thank you very much for the delivery of the session. Really some insightful bits around the different parts of the Codis ecosystem as well, which is great, Suraj. I guess one thing I was going to have to ask, just as a bit of a, I guess, you know, some really common use cases. Where do you see kind of Codis getting deployed most often in terms of what maybe job roles, or like, you know, what are the most common ways that you see actually the software being deployed?
Absolutely. I'll actually invite Mohan to come and share a bit around that. So Mohan, if you'd like to just share some points around that. But whilst that's happening, just to let you know that we've got like this is valuable. We're finding, you know, at the water cooler amongst companies, there might be the finance director who's seen Accelerator be like, wow, this would be really great. There's somebody who's in the accounts payable team, a clerk who's entering that data, wanting it from a ease of use and like quickly get data into Sage perspective. But obviously the finance director would then benefit from having that available quickly and accurately within Sage that can then be reported on as well. So it's useful from that perspective. But Mohan, if you could just share a few examples where it's most commonly deployed.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah, there's a question there from Jonathan asking about purchase orders. We didn't actually specifically go through purchase orders today, but purchase orders works exactly the same way as sales orders, purchase invoices, journals. So you have the Excel front end. You have to work in your Excel environment. You click a button and update Sage. You can download data from another system that's coming through, and then update Sage. Now, depending on the company requirements, wherever in the company there is a lot of data going into Sage, we can certainly help with that. Good. Thank you, Suraj.
So volume of data and
volume of data, yeah.
Amazing. Brilliant.
So yeah.
So yes, not got anything else more coming through, so probably in a position to wrap up. Don't like to have the final word myself, so Suraj, maybe leave the final word with you.
Of course. Thanks for putting me on the spot there, Michael. I would just say, I think the biggest thing here is that we hear time and again of colleagues across our customers base, like those in the finance teams and other places where you're really, really suffering in silence, right? You're going about your day-to-day job thinking this is the way it has to be. It can be quite painful to be able to enter data in manually or find ways to work with other systems. Many people working late hours, working to the evening, really struggling in terms of balance of life and work and having that. And main thing, don't suffer in silence. Take a look at your processes, take a look at where the pain points are. You don't have to just, succumb to that. Actually allow yourself to speak up, speak with the account manager, reach out to us. We can take a look at your processes to see where you can bring in more efficiencies and bring much more ease and joy to the way in which you work with your systems. So do connect, because we can absolutely save, take a process that could take 2 days right down to 2 hours or even less, right? For example. So don't suffer in silence, reach out, and we can support you to move forward there. And of course, the benefits around that as well on the other side in terms of reporting and decision making and all that is huge. So everyone in the organization benefits.
So I know I did say that was going to be the final word, but we have had another quick question come through. So Jonathan's asked again in terms of the working with multiple companies and it being company specific. Just a comment on that, please.
Yes. Should I take that one, Suraj? Yeah. I mean, yes. Accelerator is multi-company, yeah, and not only can you can actually specify which company a particular sheet is going to go to. Within a spreadsheet. If you recall, Suraj mentioned how you can customize the spreadsheet, and one of the fields that's available in the designer is company, and you can have that on the sheet, or it can be a company that you can select from the ribbon itself.
Brilliant.
Yep. Sorry, can I just also add, customers in the past have used Excelerator for intercompany transactions, so it can do that too.
Any more questions?
Nothing. I'll hang fire for a moment, but other than that, yeah, all good. And thank you everybody for joining us for our virtual insights today. Thank you to the guys from Codis as well for their for their time as well this morning. But other than that, if you have anything further, any more questions, please feel free to reach out to your account manager, and they can guide and steer from there. And yeah, someone has just put in terms of the pricing for the modules, that would be something to pick up directly with your account management and the account management team.